When you ride the bus, News 3 Investigates found you don't know how long your driver's been behind the wheel. I'm Theo Keith, and I found what that's costing you and whether it's putting your safety at risk.
Madison Metro once criticized for making a bus driver the highest paid city employee, allowed some drivers to work more than 70 hours a week last year. Good evening, I'm Eric Franke. It's more than a semi-truck driver can be on the road, but aboard the city bus, it is perfectly legal. The Night Team's Theo Keith is here as News 3 Investigates looked into whether that is safe. Theo?
Eric, after a bus driver made $160,000 in a year, Metro said it was getting a handle on overtime 3 years ago. News 3 looked into payroll records that showed OT spiked again in 2012. Madison Metro buses were on the road for more than 400,000 hours last year. Of the 335 people who drive these buses, those with seniority get first crack at overtime. In 2012, a few of them clocked out with 140 hours or more in a 2-week pay period. That's at least 70 hours a week.
If you have that many people's lives in your hand, including all the pedestrians and oncoming traffic, I don't think that should be allowed.
How much of that is spent behind the wheel?
It's probably a high percent is behind the wheel.
Metro General Manager Chuck Camp calls those examples unusual, although from 2011 to 2012, the number of 70-hour work weeks more than doubled. What's the reason for that?
During 2011, with all of the changes happening in state government and with collective bargaining, we had a record number of retirements, as did the state government. So that year, we probably doubled our average number of drivers that chose to retire.
If the overtime issue sounds familiar, it is. In 2010, Metro took criticism for paying driver John Nelson $159,000, making him the city's highest paid employee. Metro blamed that on driver absences and overtime rules that benefited the most senior drivers. Camp credits a new union contract that allowed Metro to cut overtime costs by nearly 6% in 2011 before spiking again last year. Now that the city's hired more drivers, Camp says the amount of overtime has fallen so far this year. But the fact remains the limits put on commercial truck drivers designed to keep our roads safe don't exist for government employees, like the people who drive the city bus. Commercial drivers have to keep rigorous logs. Metro drivers don't. Commercial drivers can only work 70 hours in 7 days, but for government bus drivers like the ones at Metro, that doesn't apply. Camp says he would like to see drivers never work more than 50 or 60 hours in a week. He acknowledges what you may be thinking right about now. How could being behind the wheel 70 hours a week be safe?
So my intuition is similar. You would think that if you're working more hours, that's more of a safety issue. But the data, both our data here at Metro and through the insurance company, does not show that.
Metro records show while overtime pay rose 29% from 2011 to 2012, the number of accidents where Metro drivers bore some responsibility went down by even more.
Last year we had the lowest number of preventable and chargeable accidents that we've had in over 5 years. So far, all of our highest drivers on a consistent basis, or highest earning drivers, have been our safest drivers.
Back when the city's highest paid employee was a bus driver, some elected leaders said they didn't think any driver should be making 6 figures. In 2012, 2 drivers reached that mark, led by senior driver Jamie Johnson. Camp says he is much more comfortable with a driver making $100,000 instead of $160,000. Eric.
All right, Theo Keith reporting tonight. Theo, thank you very much.